Up at Infowars.com right now, Rockefeller Foundation predicts 13,000 dead at London 2012 Olympics. That's pretty amazing. In fact, that just came out. Will you guys print me a copy of that, please? Also, classic false flag, 45th anniversary of the attack on the USS Liberty. Another article up at Infowars.com that was to be blamed on Egypt. Continuing climate change alarmists leading the world towards global governance. Scientific study links antidepressants. Yeah, the head of the German Green Party was at Bilderberg. That's in Der Spiegel. That's a big controversy in Germany. Scientific study links antidepressants in drinking water to autism. Yeah, I saw an Associated Press study a few years ago studying Dallas and all the other big cities. And in many cities, there was many times what could be in the water from just runoff, including virgin rivers and streams that were mountain-fed. There shouldn't be Prozac in it. There was the generic serotonin reuptake inhibitor fluoride molecule. They're jacking the water. Of course they are. They add the fluoride and all the chemicals in 70% of the country's water system, 71%. They say they want to put lithium in your water. We got all the White House science czars saying they put stuff in the water. You got Rockefeller Foundation stuff in the 60s saying do it. They're doing it. They're doing it. So the average person is already on these drugs and is highly suggestible. You can type in studies, television linked to Alzheimer's. You can type in studies about chemicals. Here it is. Rockefeller Foundation predicts 13,000 dead at London 2012 Olympics. A 2010, this just surfaced. James Britpod pulled it up. 2010 Rockefeller Foundation document titled Scenarios for the Future of Technology and International Development online outlines a scenario which results in the death of 13,000 during 2012 Olympics. A lot of folks say they think they're going to false flag something there. The first worrying prediction begins in 2012 with the pandemic the world had been anticipating for years, finally hits, infecting 20% of the world population and claiming 8 million lives. Due to this pandemic, the Rockefeller Foundation outlines how the public will welcome a more authoritative government. Yeah, they write all these reports up about how, again, I've told you for years, they'll have a smaller, I didn't even know there was this Rockefeller report. Now I'm looking at it. I've always told you they'll have a smaller attack that kills 10, 20 million people. That'll be used to bring in the total police state control grid. Then they'll bring in the mega death they want that kills 6 billion. And I've gotten pieces of that from other places, but I talk about how this happens, how I can envision exactly what they're planning and randomly type it in and pull up a Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford Foundation word for word. I mean, it's like, whoa, but it's not. A cop who's been following a serial killer for 25 years and they found, 35 bodies, by the end of it can like guess, well, he tends to strike on the full moon near the summer solstice and he dumps the bodies in this circle area. So I'm guessing from studying it, and it's not really a guess, the subconscious brain's a computer. That's the really good cops have that hunch back in the day when they actually had detectives that actually did a job, that they'll find the body in this area and that they're going to end up grabbing somebody from this area of bars. Let's put undercover in these bars on this night. That was old police work. Was your subconscious supercomputer just takes in all the data. You got to study a long time on a subject and then boom. It's kind of like watching a football team for a decade with the same coach. You can start guessing and be accurate most of the time what play they're about to call because you know that team. That's all really good football coaches do, is they study constantly all the other teams and know that. Wow, here it is. How many, I've probably said hundreds of times, they'll kill 5, 15, 20 million, right in that small percentage conservatively in the first wave. Use that as the total clampdown because I can see the preconditioning for it in movies, video games, everywhere. Skynet's a real Pentagon term from the 70s for a plan for unmanned drones. Look it up. In the Terminator movie in the 80s. The Matrix is in a 1976 plan declassified by the Federation of American Scientists in 2000, reclassified under Pentagon threats, where they said we could start putting everyone in tanks with virtual reality, and humans would then power the system with their heat. And then they make a movie out of it. And you're like, that sounds crazy. These people are crazy. Listen to this. The 2012 London Olympics bombing. In the document, the Rockefeller Foundation predicts the decade of 2010-2020 will be named the Doom Decade. Yeah, because of them. Because of the wave of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, as well as civil uprisings and financial collapse. Yeah, which they're engineering on record. But then when we warn you, but point out they're doing it, it doesn't exist, and we're pessimism porn. But all the British Ministry of Defense 07 said everything we've said is going to happen, but from their perspective. All of it. It goes on. In 2010 and 20, dubbed the Doom Decade for the reason the 2012 Olympic bombing, which will kill 13,000, was followed closely by an earthquake in Indonesia, killing 40,000, a tsunami that almost wiped out Nicaragua, and the onset of the China famine caused by once-in-a-millennium drought linked to climate change. You mean weather weapons. Once they've got these things in space, folks, they'll say, pay us more carbon taxes or you won't have good weather. And they admit that. Bill Gates now owns the biggest company, and he's hooked in with John P. Holdren. Oh, heaven help us. These people think they're God. We've got that coming up with Aaron Dykes where they say they're God. David Rockefeller says they're God's gift to God. Mirroring events in real life, the document also predicts in 2015 a large share of U.S. armed forces are recalled from countries such as Afghanistan to be stationed domestically after Posse Comitatus is removed. Yes, for the domestic insurgency, which they're actually setting up, and they're going to blow stuff up and blame it on us. It's the takeover, folks. It's here. And this is what they believe is going to happen to the Rockefeller Foundation. Gee, I wonder why you believe it's going to happen. The U.S. relocated a large share of its defense spending, domestic concerns, pulling out of Afghanistan where the insurgent Taliban seized power once again, as they always had a deal to do. As is happening right now, the document outlines how nations will lose power over their own finances due to massive debt, apparently handing over financial sovereignty to banking technocrats, using the word technocrat, which they've now rolled out. This is all an exact plan. Amazing article. Amazing article. Amazing article at Infowars.com right now. Here's another one. Facebook deletes accounts, demands passport. Our reporter, Patrick Henningsen, has had his thing deleted. They admit it's a CIA data miner. We had a bunch of Facebooks that fans made, and they signed them over to us. That's why the Alexander Emmerich is spelled wrong. People say, if that Emmerich is spelled wrong on Wikipedia, well, then why do you have it on your Facebook? Because I didn't create the Facebook. But after we took it over so they could face scan, they demanded my driver's license to be able to give us our account back. And then they also send out to Darren McBreen and others, here's photos of your high school friends. Are these your friends, to prove this is your account? So they can face scan those and have human AI approve and vet their AI system with their algorithms to test the neural network they're building. That's why they've got humans jacked into the drones now, even though they could already be autonomous, and some are, because they're learning off the human activity with a brain interface to mimic the best drone pilots. Humans are going to be obsolete in the globalist own words. The mass extermination of you and your family is approaching. They wanted to start the extermination by 2015. We've probably got them a decade behind. 2020, 2025. You will see mass bio attacks that will kill millions and millions of people. Very soon, I predict low-yield nuclear weapon will be detonated in Chicago or maybe even D.C. Dallas, Cleveland. Why do I say those? CFR likes to brag. They said those are the targets. Gary Hart said you will see those cities nuked by domestic groups. Guys wearing John Deere hats. You know, people like me that actually know they're the enemy. Nukes, bioweapon releases, and you watch the mainstream media get everybody behind this stuff when this stuff happens. And, well, we can't have Alex Jones on the air during a time like this. And if we roll over at that point, then they're going to drop the hammer. And they could do it next week. They could do it 10 years from now. But this is going to happen. We have been seized by the technocrats if we don't turn this around. Bill in Washington, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, first-time caller, long-time listener. Thank you for what you do, brother. I woke up on 9/11 watching those buildings fall and just knowing something was up, something was fishy, and I kind of went back to sleep for about a year, and then I saw you, and you shook me wide awake, and I appreciate you for that.
Well, sir, please don't appreciate me. We're all in this together. I mean, look, they're going to kill us if we don't turn this around. I told you they're going to start killing old people, killing little kids. That's already starting. I mean, these people mean business, folks, and their whole fake academic cover, you know, non-threatening is a cover. You've got to understand that.
Well, you know what? I'm sitting here in my John Deere hat, and with my Ron Paul sticker. I'm a PCO for my precinct. I was a delegate for my county. I witnessed how the system basically didn't care how flagrant they were on breaking the rules to get Ron Paul out of that state convention. And everywhere I see...
But it doesn't matter because Ron Paul got to inform people.